we're at the end of the road for what's been a thrilling Formula Ford season, and what better place to send it to than perhaps what I would call the world capital of iRacing. I'm a little bit biased, okay? I have my own personal reasons, and we'll go into it. We're at Brands Hatch, down in the lovely, lovely county of Kent. The Indy Circuit, the home of the Formula Ford Festival. Only 6 turns, or maybe 7 if you're counting them generously. This absolute thrill ride will be flying around a million times, but we'll be having an absolute joy in 20 minutes of running. I love it here, and I've got very personal memories here because I've seen the Formula Ford here in real life. Last year's Formula Ford Festival, it was a joy. Don't tell the iRacing players that it rained heavily and the grand final drivers had to deal with it. Other than that, it was crazy seeing some of these cars in real life, let me tell you that. The FF1600 default livery is real. I need you guys to know this. It actually has the iRacing logo on the hood. It looks like that. I'll grab up some pictures at the end of qualifying, as drivers are running their laps right now, and it's going to be a very quick qualifying sessions. Sub 60-second laps for most drivers. A lot of familiar faces, and a few new ones that I've never seen around. Hey, I don't begrudge anyone for diving into this exciting track. Going to be seeing it again during a special, our only Formula Special event of the year at the end of the course. So let's have one sprint race here while we're at it. Laps getting completed right now. There is a standings tab. I just needed to make sure that my stuff was properly updated. Ian Joyner claims the fastest lap so far, but the laps come thick and fast, and quite frankly, too many drivers are doing too much running for me to keep a proper track of it. Which corner's the best corner here? Paddock Hill, Druids, Graham Hill, McLaren at the end. That's sort of like the ugly step. It's sort of like the ugly stepsister corners on this track, actually, to be honest. They just staple that bit onto the end and tell you to run it. But man, I do recommend in November hopping into the festival if you missed it previously. It's a heat racing extraordinaire, and I consider this the Formula Ford capital. Really just a glorious, glorious track and a super, super exciting place to go, both in real life and in iRacing. So, the championship was effectively wrapped up last week, and Medma has so many points, 355 to 303. I consider that a season championship by any name. The iRacing Championship may still be in line to be settled. You don't really know the state of affairs in the iRacing Championship until the season is over. And we have a big SoF here that could swing things. More than almost 4,000 SoF. On a super, super tight and competitive field. And may I say their name one more time before I have to go. Frederick Surley's Eye on the Grid. Thank you for your title sponsorship of this series. FILMBIL.NO, providing all sorts of vehicle filming services in the Scandinavia region, including movies and commercials with emergency and stunt vehicles and plenty more. Been enjoying the work with them, as well with Beatrice as well, for helping bring the show together this season, of course. And I'm just looking forward to a great one to finish the show. We got quite a big grid. I think we triple split this race. So everybody's come down to the yard to see Brands Hatch on this day. Listen, you called your Formula Ford Festival Bandit Land. I did. Now, I'm sorry I have to reference Formula 1 here, by the way. But I did the Lewis Hamilton Silverstone 20. Specifically, if you have any memory of that race, it's when he lost a tyre, really, and then limped across the line, missing a tyre. I limped across the line in my heat, ready to transfer into the final, missing a whole wheel. Sure is hard to turn right on a car missing a right wheel. Let me put it like that. But I ran about 3 splits. I broadcasted one of them. It was a joy for me at the very least. maybe I just spammed it too much. You've got to accept the carnage of that sort of field. They packed too many people onto that track. But I'm going to the real one. Gave me a real appreciation for these cars. I mean, put it like that. It gets just as busy on that track. Amazing, can fly it down turn one. Our final starting grid of the season. Without further ado, and Medma starts on pole with Ian Joyner next to it. Look at the size of that gap between the two. Martin Arnoldus picks up P3 with Alexander Istad in P4. These margins are insane. First driver in a 10th is Daniel Tufts in 6th. He's behind Chris Cashew's 5th. Gridding so quick here. Fabio Birchtold in 7th with Nano Brown in 8th. Let's just roll off some names. Andrea Bellotti, then Nico Roden, Adam Hadfield and Nick Aronson, Frederick Surley and Alistair Morton, Scott Meadows and Alvin Chan. I think that's all of our drivers on the grid. They're already gridded. You've never quite seen discipline like this. The lights light up, and the lights are due to go green any moment now. Away we go for 20 minutes of Brands Hatch, possibly 25 laps, and Paddock Hill Bend is always a terrifying, terrifying place. But Ann Medma is going to hold the lead for now. Up the inside, up the other side, Christopher Cash wants to be a part of it. Oh, my order's wrong. It's the number 3 car. Martin Arnoldus tries to be in it. I see there. Istad around the outside. We've all made it through. Druids except for one. That's Adam Hadfield at the back. Makes it into the gravel, and we run forwards. And Medma gets a nice run away from the road. Some clean driving to start off this race. I wonder quite how desperate it's going to get. The highest lap count, I think, of any race this season. Knockhill was a very short track, but this is just about shorter. Fast laps, our first lap is 52 seconds. And that's not the fastest, is it? We've got running laps to do. We're going to be flying around here. I didn't wreck out of a single Formula Ford festival, okay? And I was mid-I-rating. Now, your experience may vary. I appreciate and understand that. maybe I was entirely blessed on that year. I also spammed trophy in that period too. Oh, the good old days, the memorable days. Top 2 pulling away quite well. Marshall Arnoldus is going to need to make up quite a bit of time. Not too much time to draft around here. As Nick Aronson tangles with Alvin Chan. He's got the 6-car Aronson, 4,000 I rating. Got some driver to punch through, but our weakest driver is 3K. His cars sound like that in real life as well, by the way. They really do. Put it away, enjoying it fastest. This pack staying pretty close. There can be carnage and there can be tears when someone sends it into Druid. It's probably the only serious overtaking spot on this track. It's hard to pass here. Of all play, it certainly is a challenge to pass. And I recommend, by the way, if anyone wants Formula Ford content in the downtime, you're obviously not going to have a broadcast next week. That's week 13. It is what it is. But I strongly suggest tuning into the Formula Ford Festival, the real one. Actually, the whole thing got broadcasted live on YouTube. And go watch that grand final in a heavy downpour. I'll just tell you, it's one of the most extraordinary racing stories, what happens to one of those drivers up and down the grid. It's more than just carnage. It really, really was one of my favourite motor races of the year. I actually had to watch it on the train home because it was so windy that my hood couldn't stay up properly. That's a shame. Frederick Sorley making moves up the inside past Alistair Morton. I've seen him for a few weeks. He's dropped out of a few, been running a few others. I noticed it's been a week or two where he's been sort of. Adam Hadfield still struggling to get the rest of the track in the back of the field. Here comes our field. Still pretty close together. And looks like we're almost going to go too wide here of Alex Istad going into Paddock Hill. Not quite committed to. You have to be so brave to even fly it down that corner. I had the chance to talk to some real drivers as well. And I asked, how do you do Paddock Hill? And they all said variations of with bravery. Now, this is my storytelling day, okay? We're going to be here for like a billion laps. Then I get to tell stories. and you're all along for the ride. Number 9, Daniel Tufts, definitely looks like he's going to try and make the move, and that's a checkup from Istad. That's going to cause a bit of a Constantina down the row. See if everyone makes it out of that without contact. Nato Brown is almost out of line there to try and get a move up. He doesn't have pace. Maybe Berchtold now on the rear. This could be a chance for a send, but if you stick it to the inside of Paddock Hill at the top, you have difficulty making it quite to the outside. That's Tufts on the gravel. You can take a bit of gravel here and get away with it. As it's so did there. Our top 4 have made the break, but it's 4 and then everything else behind. So Manolas has caught onto Cash. Manolas and Cash have caught onto Joyner, but Istad is now sort of holding up the next group in line. Really not many cameras to choose from here, are there? You'd think this would be a straight to get a draft, but even then it really isn't. You'd find that to be a bit of a mistake. The gap now 1.6. This top 4 irresistibly fast. And almost there, sent by Cash on the inside of Druid. It's covered off by Arnoldus. So he makes a move to the outside, and it's not quite enough to get the outbreak done. Almost alongside there into Graham Hill too. Getting that run here is very, very tricky. Istad's closed the gap just a bit. But on board with Cash at the back of the road for a short while here. Only limited spots to make those moves, and that pressure's going to build as the race goes on. We've done 7 laps, and Joyner's fastest. A 47.9. You see Joyner just sort of positioning that car. But this is a race of waiting for other people's mistakes. Much more than it's about seizing on yourself. Further back on the road. Still things going as normal. Scott Meadows in and running through the pit lane. I don't see a crash on record for Meadows, so I can't really tell you what's triggered that. I don't see a crash event. But now, these cars might come across a lapped driver as almost side-by-side Martin Arnoldus. We're getting a little bit touchy-feely in Drury's Daniel Tufts. Also dueling with Istad. Istad had a little bit of a nose-in, but not enough to make the clear. You can see the size of that gap grow now. That's what we're dealing with. I'm trying to rapidly find media as this race goes on. I just want to prove you guys that the iRacing livery is real, and when you see those bandits in your race, they didn't make that up. Didn't get to touch it. Didn't feel like touching someone's Formula Ford in the paddock area. Arnoldus wants that outside line. You have to really send it to get something good done into Druid. Really, you have to do something ridiculous. You have to do, the word is, some banditry. Yeah, Scott Meadows probably qualifying fuel, unfortunately. Not actually a lap down. Just will be if the pace isn't quite on par with some of these top drivers. And these top drivers are fast. Driver I've never seen on the SoF race, Alvin Chan. Chan was the Asia Club, so I think Chan is closer to correct. Not ready to do it into Paddock Hill. Now side by side, just for a second. The cars don't really have a huge amount of pace, but Berchtold and Istad are clashing. There's a little bit of wheel contact. A little bit of a touchy feeling. Adam Hadfield is around. Was that one self-inflicted? He has sort of struggled so far today. The smoke up ahead. No dead race cars. He's always on the inside of Frederick Sorley and just eats the side pod. That sends him around and back. His top four is going to blow up in fireworks at one point. You simply know it to be the case. But they know what's good for them at this very moment. I'll say, as much as I've been joking about the wet Formula Ford Festival driving, and about how those drivers were chaps and they nailed it, I don't like driving this thing in the wet either, so I completely sympathise. Those are not wet tyres. I think Cash has gotten the move done. A bit of a check-up in line has caused some slowdowns. I think it started there for Medmer up front. Join has checked up. Arnold has checked up, and Cash seized the slot. There's no way this doesn't blow up. I just like a little bit of light ribbing on my last broadcast of the season. Okay, love these little things. All these ducks are very much in a row. Frederick Sorley's been doing a bit of battling with Morton as well. But really, I think the top is where it's going to happen. We've still got more than 10 laps to go. Morton's still clashing with Frederick, actually. They're probably having the toughest battle of this race. Morton sure has the advantage. Edo's now a lap down. He was cleared by the field. We're all waiting. You think 8 minutes and you think, oh, 8 laps. No, it's 10. More than 10. Sorry for your loss. Sorry you assumed the wrong things. You're going to be here for a long time. I would spend years here, though. Looks like a bit of another checkup has almost made Cash go for it again. Cash is the one moving his nose around the most, I think. Cash is the one that's most looking to make this dive. I think it will start with him, no matter how it ends. Still this top four. I'm quiet because I'm just letting the tension sort of boil up in this room. Not much I can add. We are side by side. Bit of a mistake by Medmer. Maybe not enough of one. Covered off behind. Crashing on Aldous. Oh, you think they're going to do it? Will they? Will they? Will they? Now, I will have to... I was going to address a very salient point here in the chat, but we are tussling back here, Daniel Tufts. Still has the better of Istad. The gap's now 3 seconds. It's tremendously big. But we're looking at one battle and behind 4 drivers are doing the exact same thing. Istad has the inside. This can be advantageous for momentum down the start-finish straight. He'll probably have it by the line on this lap. And I'll outbrake hard, but Tufts has just been a little bit taken by that. I didn't miss that. I just didn't really have good words to put into my mouth what I was seeing there. I saw that as you all did. And then I just sort of froze. I was witnessing death in front of my very eyes. Side by side at the paddock hill. And, it's almost like a little bit of a lock-up from it's not really true lock-up from Mistad, but you get the feeling he didn't turn into that bend quite as much as he was being expected to. Salient point here is that I think it's very subjective whether Joiner's car is yellow or green. Highlighter yellow-green, so we're not going to, like, have this debate. But I kind of see a greenish tint to it. And at that point, is it a yellow car fest? It's in the eye of the beholder. I'm not going to tell you you're wrong about that, because I've heard debates that last for hours on this, and they're just pointless. There's no point, all right? The brain plays games with you. It sees things that it doesn't expect to see. No, and Medma not able to pull away. He usually can pull away from the field in these races and put in banger laps, but something about this track is making it hard, and let me tell you, it's not the draft. There sure as hell isn't any of that around here. It's a field that knows this track. And Ian Joyner is always sticking that car in inconvenient places into Druids. He is playing the brick wall to a Cash that you know wants to make the move. 5 minutes to go. Should be 6 laps by an estimation. I only get an estimation. We know it. We'll know it when we see it, okay? I'm in awe at the way that Cash can't get past, because Ian Joyner's just placing his car in ways that are consistently inconvenient. This is like a masterclass in defensive sort of like, I'm not blocking you, but I'm taking a different line. Is this the time he makes the move? It is not. But he's making sure that road is covered up. He's taking the alternate line, and so Cash doesn't have any spots to dive bomb. And that's probably the best place for him to be at right this moment. The tension boils and simmers. And Joyner on the rear almost looks like he's going to go into Medma. Now that would be a way to end this season. Side-by-side paddock hill. There's a run, but the outside struggles here. Arnoldus gets the fastest lap. Now dropping off the pack quite significantly. I'm not quite sure where he's gone. He's not totally out of it. And now there's enough space for Cash to say he's had enough. Not alongside enough. You need a massive dive to make the outside work around there. I've done it before. But you need to be so far ahead that there's no question. I'll tell you this. And Medma has 4 wins on the season. Ian Joyner has 1. Cash doesn't have any. Only 2 podiums. And this will be his last chance. Not this lap, certainly this day. Daniel Tuff's just sort of mugged there by 2. What quite happened to him? I'm not sure and I'm interested. Can't hide from me. He's quite on his own. I think there's a big mistake here. Yeah. That's a bit of a losing it and a bit of needing time to recover. They're shaking and moving all the way back. Let's give a shout out to drivers here. Fabio Birchtold and Nato Brown have pulled very much away from Istad, who has Bellotti to hold off. It's Nico Ronda. I had like a second to see the name on the grid because I had to scroll it quick and I saw Roden. And I thought in my head, there's no way it's that. And it wasn't that. We're having a Martin Van Eccleston moment here. That's ancient law. Real defensive block there from Joyner. That's going to kill Cash's momentum. This defending is so aggressive. I'm surprised that alone hasn't led to contact. He has really been throwing that car in everywhere he can put it. These cars slide and these cars tussle. And it will be 2 to go. Crossing at the line. We'll have time for 2 more laps. Not much has moved in this top 4, but you've gotten the impression that a lot of them want things to move. And they just haven't quite had the chance yet. I think it's good racing. Although, there's no way I could ever be biased. Alright? No way I could ever be. I'm only a neutral, balanced observer who just calls it as it is. No big moves this lap. We'll be approaching the white flag. Next go around. It's Aronson and Morton. Proving those. And Tufts and Chan as well. And Tufts and Chan are getting into contact again. I will replay this. Oh! Tufts has ended up touching a lot of cars today. The stuff you catch on camera. That's a meatball. Alvin Chan. I'll recall that one in a second because it looks like Ian Jordan is ready to make the move and he's got so far behind Medma that Cash is deciding he's going to have to take it now. Exit's going to be so important. And he's clear on exit. Cash makes it out of Graham Hill. Behind. Oh no, this is backwards. Oh no, this is out. He might even get passed up a few times down the road. I see no nose on Ian Joyner. There has been contact and there has been damage. And the checkered flag is going to be claimed by Anne Medma yet again to finish off a stellar season. Christopher Cash made it happen. There's a lot to see there. Obviously, Instant a little bit further behind. And the overtake for the win. So let's break this down one at a time. We'll do this carefully. A lot of stories told there and possibly some controversy by the end. Here's our last lap pass. Joyner, throws it in all over the rear and that just sabotages his momentum. Is no contact. This is clean. Actually, there was a bit of... I think it's the contact there of Joyner on the nose of Medma. And it's fully clear on exit. And behind, that's just a self-spin. Self-reported from Arnoldus. Now, we have a little bit more to catch here with Daniel Tufts. He hasn't had a particularly good day today. Pushing a little bit wide on exit, and then... That's Chan trying to return to the track. And then Chan himself, he's lost a wheel in that. He has actually just lost a wheel. And that car ain't going anywhere. That's where that meatball came from. So another crash, or is this just entering for the pits? Now that's the overlay thinking Chan crashed again in the pit lane. It's a little reversal. It's a fast repair. What am I saying? Well, that was a race, and that was a way to conclude a season. I'm going to get your results very imminently. Let me just bring that one out for you. I like a good camera to finish this on. And who better to hold the camera on than our winner, Anne Medma, for the final time this season. The final time, Anne Medma claims another win. Christopher Cash makes the move for P2 in front of Ian Joyner, and Mine just does hold on to P4. Fabio Birchtold finishes 5th with Nato Brown in 6th and Istad in 7th. Bellotti is in 8th with Nico Rondet in 9th. I'll get you right at least once, and Alistair Morton in 10th. Nick Aronson finishes there for Adam Hadfield in 12th, Frederick Surley in 13th, Alvin Chan in 14th with Scott Meadows, and Daniel Tufts finishing the race. This has been a real joy of a season, and I've enjoyed every second of it. Stay strong out there, drivers, and keep repping your favourite car in your favourite series, because at the end of the day, iRacing will be here for as long as you will prove that you can be here for it. Make sure you join the FF1600 and the Skip Barber communities. You can get to the iRacing forum for both their single Discord server to meet some of the drivers on this field as well. And until I see any of you next, this has been Howie Burroughs signing off for this season and for this